Hi everyone, it's great to see you. Today I am going to be planting up some more seeds. It is snowing lightly outside, so this is a good Saturday afternoon job to be doing. And I am this year for the first time going to be using the tomato-sized Jiffy peat pot pellets. So I've used the Jiffy pods before with my coleus seeds, love them. And this time, by choosing this particular size, the tomato size, they are larger pods. So we're starting pretty early. These particular seeds, these particular flowers need a longer germination period and growing time before they go outside and bloom. So I'm hoping that this gets me a little longer before I have to pot them up. So let's see what's in one of these kits. Looks like a lot of them of the smaller size, except our little peat pots are larger. Now, of course, peat pots, they come with a Super Thrive plant vitamins. I don't put these in initially. I will start to water with some liquid fertilizer once everything has germinated. It does come with some little plastic tags, which is great because if you're like me, I try to remember where I plant everything and I can't always do that. So let's see what it says for directions. With the smaller Jiffy pots here, you add 10 cups of water. This says add 1.5 inches of warm water. Okay, so it's not going to give us a cup amount. What I did is I filled up, this is a 2-gallon pitcher, and it's about 1.5 gallons here. So let's see what it takes to reconstitute these. Right now, they're all little hard pellet things. You want to make sure that if any of these came out in shipping, you have this little divot, this little hole on top, and you just make sure they're all tucked into their separate little places. And so we're going to, this is warm water that I'm pouring over them. It helps it to absorb faster. And it usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes to really see this work. Okay, oh, they're all starting to lift up. How cute. And sometimes they will float out of their little pockets when you add the water. And if that happens, just poke them down. Okay, this looks pretty good. We're gonna let this be, and we're gonna come back in about 10 minutes and see where we're at. Looking really, really good. This has been much less than 10 minutes, and I can really tell a difference. So look at the size of this peat pot. These smaller, not tomato-sized ones get to be about this tall. So this is going to give us a lot more growing medium. Now, I ended up pouring about 1.5 gallons into each tray, and they pretty much are poofed up. They look good. When I feel them, they're damp all the way through. I'm going to give them a little more water because there's none left at the bottom here. And I just want a little left there. And you can see that they're just poofing up a little bit more as I do that. There we go. Now I like to use a little spritz bottle on the top of my seeds as they're germinating. So I'll probably do that too. You really want to make sure that your seeds, as they take root, stay nice and moist. The next thing that you need to do is we need to open the netting that's around these little peat pots. So you can see how one of these has this netting that holds together your peat moss medium. And I like to I wear a pair of gloves so that it's easier, and just pull that back so you can see more of the top planting piece. It is not absolutely necessary to do that. If you're planting more than one seed though, it gives you the option to put them a little further apart. If you're just planting the one seed, then you could leave it in the middle. And as I'm doing this, I can feel that some of these are more damp than others. So I think I will have to go back and just maybe add a little more water to some of the edge. I find that the edges tend to dry out faster, and you want to keep an eye on that. Those Jiffy pots that are in the center, you know, they're surrounded by other moist Jiffy pots, so they sort of hold and retain that water better. Around the edge, they do tend to dry out more. And if you're going to put a fan on these to strengthen your seeds later, you're going to find out that your edge plantings tend to dry out from that more too, just because they get more of the fan. Dan, do we need to move the camera so that we can see around the cats? We can always come to the side. We wouldn't want to upset the cats, of course, by moving them. Okay, and I'll just take and open these up. There we go. Hi, Pumpkin Pickle. How you doing? So here's a good example of one that is not moist enough. You can actually see the lighter color dry peat in there. So I can tell this one needs a little more water, and there were a couple others like that. So let me take care of that. So these particular trays come 36 little pots per tray, so we're going to be planting up 72 seeds, which, you know, doesn't really seem like a lot. It's only 2 trays, but as they get bigger, all of a sudden we're going to have 72 big plants. Now today we're going to be planting some pansies and some vinca, and probably for both of these I should have started them earlier. The pansies, I really recommend in zone 6B that they get planted end of December, and here we are very end of January, so I'm about a month behind. You need a good 3-4 months before they start blooming. So I'm not quite sure if they're going to bloom right when I want them to or not, but I'm going to give it a try. These are Frizzle Sizzle raspberry pansies, and Frizzle Sizzle reminds me of Mrs. Frizzle from the Magic School Bus series, and that is just very happy. So what a great name. We'll do those, and then I'm also starting Tattoo Black Cherry Vinca. And Vinca is a great more shade annual, and they are now making some of the Vinca though able to be in a sunnier spot. So these are supposed to take a little bit more sun, and I was thinking for my new garden with all the conifers and Japanese maples, it needs some colors and some fillers in there. This is a very unique looking Vinca, and I just thought if I had a whole bunch to put in the ground or in pots, that would be a really great thing. So these say to press into the soil and lightly cover. It needs darkness to germinate. So you're supposed to cover the flat with newspaper or place inside a black plastic trash bag and keep them out of direct sun. And then once they start to sprout, then you let them out of that dark area so they get some sun, and it takes 10 to 21 days for the vinca to actually germinate. So they're going to be kept in the dark. And here's my little vinca sign. This tray will be vinca in the dark. Now pansies are a little different. We're going to barely cover them, but it also needs darkness to germinate. Yay! So we'll cover that also. These say 14 to 21 days, so it looks like about the same amount. I'm pretty happy about that. I can treat them the same before they go under the grow light. So I'll put my pansies there. And let's take a look at these seeds. Now, these seeds are all from Swallowtail Garden, and that was the brand that I used for the geraniums that I planted. Let's see, they are super, super tiny. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. The cats are going to try to climb on the chair here. I have to rescue a few things. There are 20 little seeds here, and I want them all in this flat. So I'm gonna start doing one per little pot, but then I'm going to double up on 2 so that I can fit all of these in here. Because they're a very dark seed, they really blend in. Once you drop them in, you can't see them. These are so tiny. These pansy seeds are tinier than the vinca seeds that I just did. These are like, oh. Okay, I'm gonna go back and cover them and press them in. At least these are not the dark brown, so I can see them on top here. That's a good thing. Okay, all those seeds are pressed in. Now, since it says that you can cover them lightly and that they don't need light to germinate, in fact, they need darkness, I am going to sprinkle just a little bit of vermiculite along the top. And this is going to keep the chance of fungus gnats down a bit. And it just lightly covers them. That looks good. Okay, I'm just gonna lightly mist that into place. And the reason I'm not watering with the pitcher now or with a watering can is because those are super tiny seeds and they're very, very light. Something that strong coming from the top would probably dislodge them where I had pressed them in. So this will do the job. Yeah, Pickle, you're not too sure you want to be sprayed with the mister? No, I don't blame you. Okay. Okay, we have 2 freshly planted seed trays here. Let's put their humidity domes on top. So these are the humidity domes that come in the kit with the Jiffy pots. And you want to snap them in enough so that it really is sealed. They sort of sit right in that little rim. And then we're going to put them in a dark garbage bag. And I'm using a dark colored garbage bag because they really need no light for this. So we want to make sure that we're not getting any light, which you might get through a white garbage bag. Okay, this is tricky. I don't think that was the way to do it. There we go. Oh, pretty good. So remember, newspaper layer, that would be fine too. This, I feel like I can just tie shut. And now, Dan, remember, these are not bags of garbage sitting on the counter. These are going to be our seeds here. Dan knows when there are strange things laying around the house that usually I'm up to something. So he's very good and asks, what's going on with these garbage bags? So we have our Vinca, we have our pansies. We will see how they do, and I will, of course, give you an update as soon as I see any growth. I probably will wait about a week to check on them because they're sealed in the humidity dome, and I made sure they were quite damp. I really feel quite confident they won't need watering for a while here. Okay. Goodbye, happy little seeds. Okay, we are good. This is kind of a strange way to end a video, though. So, here are my seeds all planted up. My beautiful frizzle sizzle raspberry pansies and my Vinca. I think they're going to be gorgeous. Let's hope they get to work quickly and grow on. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.